All right, Shalom. First, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. Now, I just finished watching this video here by the elder brother Yashawamba. All right, and I went to the site and I read the article, which led me to another article from the same site. All right, now in his video, went into well, the title says CDC advises parents to prepare to have children taken overnight. Okay, which that's what it goes into, but it also mentions within that article about college students, okay, as well as people in regular households, okay. And so I found another article, which is on the same site, which says college students can be ordered to isolation facilities, says new state order. Now, who's in charge of these isolation facilities? When you read in the previous article, it tells you that there was an order for FEMA, all right, for there to be FEMA shelters created. Notice they won't use the word camps, but they will use the word shelters, right? So FEMA shelters created and to be utilized for isolation. So if they're mentioning isolation facilities, all right, that people are going to be sent to, all right, you should wonder who's going to be in charge of that as well. So they're not coming for just your little kids from K through 12. Now they're coming for college students as well as the individuals in their households. So you thinking they're gonna come for my kids, I'm gonna go protect my kids. Guess what? They're coming for you as well. Now in this article is very interesting as I read down concerning, you know, being able to leave. All right, because once you're checked in here, well, I'm gonna read it. It says the most recent order from the Ohio Department of Health could require college students to be sent into isolation facilities by health officials even when they do not test positive for COVID-19. You hear that? I'm going to read it again. The most recent order from the Ohio Department of Health could require college students to be sent into isolation facilities by health officials even when they do not test positive for COVID-19. The order was signed by Ohio Health Director Lance D. Himes late Monday, August 31st. Now it says here, removal to a COVID facility could be required if the student lives in a dorm or in a situation with a shared bathroom or bedroom that does not meet isolation criteria established by health officials. Per the order, anyone testing positive for COVID who does not require hospitalization can be ordered into isolation. So they're not just coming for people, all right, who need to be, well, it says who does not require hospitalization. So if if you're not sick to the point where you have to be checked into a hospital, they can order you, okay, into isolation. And how convenient they have isolation centers for you, because now, all right, they've played the card, all right, already of telling people to self quarantine. And when they first said that, we told you they know damn well that's not an effective way. However, they still had to put it out there so they can be justified when they take even more severe measures. They can look back and say, hey, look, we're doing this because when we told you to self quarantine, all right, people didn't do it. And then that led to the virus, still being there and killing more people. So now we have to actually have isolation centers where we can take these people and monitor them so we know that they're quarantining. It says, additionally, anyone who has been exposed to COVID and anyone who is asymptomatic but deemed high risk can be ordered to isolation as a precautionary measure. You hear that? Now, who determines whether you're high risk or not? And for all you know, you could just not have it, but then they'll throw that under the category of asymptomatic. Oh, no, no, no. We know you don't feel any symptoms, but you have it. You just don't know it yet. Okay? And it says they can order you into isolation as a precautionary measure. So you don't even have to test positive. If they suspect that you're asymptomatic or you're at high risk of having it or being exposed to it, they can order you to isolation. Now, notice the words they're using. Can be ordered. Okay? Can be ordered. Now, once they give you an order, they need to have a policy or something in place to make sure that the order is followed. What about the rebellious students? How do we get those students into the isolation facilities if they refuse? Do we have to use force? Do we have to send? Why did was it Cuomo, I believe, who sent in them SWAT team into that college? So if they have trouble, if they're emailing you or they're contacting you and you're refusing, don't be surprised if they come in there with people who are gonna forcefully remove you, detain you, and send you to these isolation centers. Now, even more interesting, it says students exiting hospitals also could be required to isolate in such a facility, said the order. Quarantined students cannot leave an isolation facility until they have a written release from health officials. I'm going to read it again. Quarantined students cannot leave an isolation facility until they have a written release from health officials. You might go in there, they'll say, oh, it's only 2 weeks. 2 weeks come by, okay, I'm ready to go. Well, we were testing you and the way your vitals are looking, let's give it another 2 weeks. Next thing you know, you're not leaving. Okay? And you're going to be one of those telling the newcomers, I've been here for 2 months. When I came in here, oh, they told you 2 weeks? Guess what? They told me 2 weeks too. It's been 2 months. All right? And then it takes it a step further. All right? It says each educational institution would decide if parents or other visitors would be authorized to enter the facility per the order. So if the educational institution says no, you're not allowed any visitors, guess what? Your parents can't come see you. And you can't leave this isolation facility. Okay? And we've been warning you about these things for years to come. Man, I say years to come. For years, man. Okay? From our elders and apostles on down. And they're going to take full advantage of this winter. And this chaos that's about to break forth is going to give them the perfect justification to already have the military on standby, to have the boots to the ground. And if they're already here, all right, they're going to use force. Because these are things that no parent is going to sit there and say, I'm going to allow you to detain my child and I can't see them. And they might, these parents might say, no, I'm not going to agree to that. The children, the college students might say, hell no, you're not taking me anywhere. But then again, that's when you send in the force. You send in the marshals. You send in FEMA troops. Because if these are going to be FEMA isolation centers, all right, as per the previous article, then what kind of troops are going to be there to guard it? So now you're seeing FEMA is starting to step in more and more. Why is that? Read about the executive orders that were signed in to give FEMA certain powers. Okay, they're transferring power into the hands of FEMA. And once FEMA takes full control, your constitution is out the window. It's gone. And now FEMA rules. Okay? And this is what's staring you down straight up in the face, man. But what are our people doing? They're just roaming about pursuant to Luke 17 and 26. They're living their lives, giving in marriage, getting ready to build communities. Okay? Having a good old time. Because they think that, the virus died down a little bit. They're about to come for your asses, man. Revelation 12 and 12. They're about to come down with great wrath. No mercy, man. If the Most High, Bahashem Yahushai, doesn't have mercy on you, you are going to get caught up in this. And yes, it is going to be the worst possible it can. Man, however bad it can get, it's going to get that bad. Okay? Because we're in a time of great judgment. It says, no isolated or quarantined student can leave the premises to which he has been restricted without written permission. So if you've been restricted to a certain area, you can't leave without written permission. What does that mean? That means that obviously they're going to have people to check. Well, they said I could leave. Okay, well, show us the proof. Remember, it says you need a written release. That's, man, it says according to the order. See the order here. Now, it says public colleges and universities have been directed to make available vacant I believe that should say structures for isolating students. Okay, you got some of these giant colleges, and they got these different rooms, and so you're dorming. Okay, and next thing you know, the school is suddenly being turned into a holding center. And then you go from going to classes to now a bunch of students who went away from their houses, from their households, because they thought they were going to school, and now they're trapped being held like prisoners in concentration camps. Because that's ultimately what it's going to be. They call it isolation centers and all this, but so you're there for isolation. What are going to be your daily activities? What are they going to be doing to you? Are they going to be injecting you with things? Are they going to be experimenting on you? Are they going to be testing you in the guise of saying we need to check your vitals? All right? This is not a joke, man. Ohio State University is conducting mandatory testing of 8,000 students each week through their surveillance testing program. So now, this is pre-vaccine. The vaccine hasn't even come out yet. And now if you're in an isolation center and the vaccine comes out, you think they're going to let you leave without taking the vaccine? Come on. That's not happening. The second you end up in there, man, and if they hold you in there until that vaccine comes out, you're not leaving until you get that vaccine. Okay? Now, notice it says they're conducting mandatory testing, right? So what about the students who refuse to be tested? Now, they might say out of a precautionary means, then we have to isolate you. Because we don't know if you're positive or negative because you won't let us test you. So we have to assume the worst for the safety of public health. This devil is slick, man. They're slick with their tongue. They're slick with their policies. And they're getting ready to come down with that great wrath, man, because this is all biblical prophecy. And Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is going to give them that green light. And they're just going to, man. It says the university will test a randomly assigned sample of 8,000 undergraduate students each week who will be asked to take COVID-19 diagnostic saliva test at Jesse Owens North, said the OSU document. Okay, I'm guessing that's Ohio State University, or doesn't really matter at this point. Okay, because it's not going to be just Ohio. Okay, now for everything there needs to be a precedent. So the one starts it out, and then the rest start to adopt that. This is a required program. Failure to respond and schedule a test may result in a directive to quarantine until testing can be completed, loss of access to university spaces, and a report to student conduct. Did I not just say this? Okay. If you don't schedule or respond, if you don't schedule a test, it can result in a directive to quarantine until the testing can be completed. So unless you get tested, you got to quarantine. But once again, how do they know that you're going to follow the order to self-quarantine? So instead, they might just haul your ass off to a isolation facility and say, until we test you to find out whether we have to keep you here longer or we can release you, you can't leave. Loss of access to university spaces. It says calls to set, so you're going to have contact tracers who are going to be out on the lookout, monitoring people, watching people. You're going to have these isolation facilities. Man, straight out of a movie. It says calls to several other public Ohio colleges and universities have not yet been returned, but many others reportedly are not conducting COVID testing. The Akron Beacon Journal reported that Miami University is conducting mandatory COVID-19 testing for students living on campus. You got to understand, it doesn't stop at the tests. The tests are only to tell them, give them more information, but then what do you do now? Okay? Crawford said he and Dean of Students Kimberly Moore assure that students who test positive won't be punished, nor will information gleaned from contact tracing be used to reprimand students. Failing to schedule a test, however, has consequences, he said. And they always do that. No, it's okay. You can come. No, nothing bad is going to happen to you. But hold up. If they're positive, what are you going to do to them? I don't think they're worried about being punished. I think they're more worried about being forcefully isolated. You're going to tell them, but you're not going to be punished. And then they try to use a scare tactic. But if you fail to schedule a test, that has consequences. Now, consequences, what are these consequences? Well, that's up to them to determine that. It says students who refuse testing must withdraw from their face-to-face classes this term and complete their remaining classes remotely, Crawford said. Okay? And notice it's always step by step. First, because they change their words well constantly, man. First is, oh well, you have to withdraw from face-to-face classes. But what if your class is not ordered on the class that you're withdrawing face-to-face from doesn't have an online section? Now, they can start off by saying you have to take classes remotely, but then soon they might just say, you know what, it's getting so bad out here that we're not even going to let you just do that, because you can take classes remotely and then what, you just chill on campus? No, 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 no. For safety reasons, we gotta isolate you and quarantine you, man. All right, this is what they're getting ready to do. Okay, I'm gonna bring out this precept yet again. All right, the famous Revelation 12 and 12, man. It says, therefore rejoice ye heavens and ye that dwell in them. And I don't have to bring out, 20 different precepts, because all the precepts, all right, that we usually bring out, brothers know them by now. Of course it's good to keep bringing them out, okay, but we quote them and we make reference to them and we constantly bring them out over and over again, because that is the precept that we're reading is what's taking place, okay? And we can apply it to these different events and articles that come out. It says, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath. Okay? Because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So they're going to move quick, and they're going to move, like Trump said, powerfully. All right? Very quickly and very powerfully. All right? Now this is Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7. It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. So this is just the beginning phases. All right? This is just the beginning steps, man. But Jacob's trouble, as we know, is going to be a time like never before. It says, it is even the time of Jacob's trouble, and boy, are a lot of you Israelites in trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Okay? And that he is referring unto the elect, which we humbly hope and pray that the Lord have mercy on us and count us worthy to be of that number. Okay? That we may be delivered from these tribulations and situations that are going to be befalling everybody else. Okay? So with that, I hope you were edified. All right, we're in the time of prophecy. All right, and as you can see, we're in the time of great judgment. Okay, so you got to stay in the spirit, continue to pray, and watch out, man. Okay, be very circumspect, all right, in your everyday to day life. Okay, so with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha, Kudash. Until next time, Shalom.